Hello and welcome to Mechwarrior Online. This is my review of the Ebon Jag-Prime, or what I call the Ebon Artemis. I also sometimes call this the ATM Ebon, because sometimes I load this with the ATMs and I just give them names so that I can remember what they are specifically. And I love this paint job. It just really works on the Ebon Jag. But anyways, this is my build out of this particular one, and this is also the this isn't the one, but it is the one that they give out as well in loyalty. I think it was back in November or maybe in October. It has 2 ballistic weapons, an energy weapon, and then 2 missile pods that go up on top. I have decided to load this with 2 machine guns, a heavy large laser because that is a lot of defense, and 2 LRM-20s with Artemis. And that makes this thing a very deadly mech. This thing is a lot of fun to drive, and it's quite tanky if you know how to drive it properly. Here's the loadout. The Artemis turns the LRMs into kind of like an ATM, if you will. A better guidance system, but you have to attach the Artemis to each one of the missile pods. Regardless of how many missile pods there are, ATM, it takes up an extra slot and an extra ton. ATMs have this built in. That's probably why ATMs weigh so much. But I have the 2 machine guns, and I'm running 6 tons of ammo for the 2 LRM-20s, which is more than ample. The Bartle rule is you should run 2 tons for every 20 LRMs you have. So if you had 4 LRM-20s, you would have 8 tons of ammo minimum. And that's the minimum. That's not necessarily the maximum. So I'm running a ton of ammo for each one of the machine guns. And even with this heavy large laser and these 2 LRM-20s on here, my heat management is 1.44, firepower is 66, and the speed is 81 kph. Let me tell you why I chose this mech to do this on. XP bonus 2.5, yay. Ballistics cooldown, I'm really not taking advantage of that much, am I? But the it does, I think it does actually make the fire rate a little bit faster. Kind of almost like ROF. Missile cooldown, minus 15%. Cooldown, minus 20%. So that's 35% cooldown on missiles. Energy heat, minus 2.5%. Missile velocity, plus 10%. Then you're getting a bank of additional survival in the armor hardening, or armor here, which isn't bad, but it seems to be about right for that of a clan mech. I'm running 2 cool shots in a UAV, which I always do. And let me show you this skill set. I'm still running this pretty much the same way I run most of my other mechs, except I'm not as much worried about heat because this thing does really well as far as heat goes. Full range, a little bit of heat, velocity. I'm not worried about laser features, but definitely all the missile features. Density, armor hardening, reinforced casing. I'm not worried about overheat because it's probably never going to happen, but who knows? But I'm not doing it. AMS overload, absolutely, and I always run laser AMS because I don't like having to carry extra tonnage. Not to mention, if you get hit and that ammo just explodes, I'm not so much worried about the explosion because I have a clan mech, but now you've got a weapon you can't even use, so that's a problem. Cooldown, heat, God, stifling a yawn. Target decay, seismic sensor, and of course full radar deprivation, because why not? Basically I fire the laser on one, these on the other. These are close quarters weapons because the heavy large laser doesn't have a lot of range. Its optimum range, fully skilled out, is 550 meters. Not a lot. And it goes out, it says 960, and it goes plus the that makes it close to 1204 as far as range, maximum range. But realize at 1204, you're not doing maximum damage. You're tapping him on the shoulder. If you want to slug him in the head, be an optimal rage. That's a slug to the head. And with 18 damage, it's going to hurt. You do have to wait a little while for it to cool down, but it's not a big deal because you still got machine guns. So it's always good to have an extra option on board. I considered doing the ER large laser on here, but I really wanted the extra firepower, and since this mech has such great cooldown and heat control, why not? Anyway, that's my review of this, and this is a great little guy. A lot of fun, and of course it's got this cool fuselage that I really dig. It kind of looks like a jet that's been transformed into the robot version.